What's on with you lot?
Obviously you should have food.
Yeah. Okay everyone, well, welcome back to this week's video, or this Tuesday's video. Before we start with things that are happening, look, we need to show you this. So this is, if you remember, we had, what's she called?
Blondie.
Blondie sitting on some eggs. She's not sitting on many eggs anymore. This one, Ange found Blondie was out feeding, and Ange found this one in the process of hatching out and not being really cared for that much. So she put it in the incubator for it to dry off, and now we're just going to chuck it back under Mum.
Right, cool. I mean, she's really good. I think those three are going to be dud.
Yeah.
But she took on additional chicks last year. But
So we don't really need to add to our flock.
well, depends how cute they look.
Depends how cute they are, but so these we're probably going to give to Cindy to get her started on a chicken
Journey.
journey. That's the word I was looking for. Right.
So we'll see how those are doing. And
Yeah, we'll
but
candle them later, but we don't think so.
No, I think once they.
Something else, guys, to consider. We have Twizzler here. Yeah, who we thought was a female. It's looking very male to me. And yeah, a bit warm as well. It's a very hot day today. But yeah, he is looking very male. And if he is a male, Elvis might be replaced, because he won't be related to any other female we have, whereas Elvis is the father to half of our females now, all the little ones as well. So better watch your step, Elvis. So one of the disadvantages of having chickens free ranging like we have is when we have a broody hen, which Meg, one of our chickens, is starting to go broody.
Well, she's finished now.
Yeah, she's finished now, but yeah, they tend to lay wherever they can because Meg's in the nest box and doesn't like anyone else there. So Angie's been dragging her out and throwing her outside every day, 4 or 5 times a day, but they still want to lay outside away from all the fuss, basically. But now this should be getting better, this situation, because Meg's not broody anymore, so the nest boxes will be a bit more free. So we know we've done a load of swimming in the chicken run to try and find the eggs. Still couldn't find them. Didn't swim everything because there's a grapevine here which we don't want to kill. I don't know if you see the grapes here. But look what I just found. It's the only place you can't see from the other side. So we'll pick these little buggers up. So as I was saying, because of this lovely grapevine here, we didn't trim this bit underneath this cork oak, yeah? And the eggs were in here somewhere. Somewhere in there. So, anyway, we now have them.
12 little things.
12, all from the Dutch chickens, yeah?
Yeah.
So everyone, here we are in the goat paddock, as you can see, and guess what we've got? There they are. So it's a boy and a girl, and this one's already got a name called Berty, is that right? Berty.
Yeah.
Berty, so I'm thinking Berty, maybe Gerty.
Gerty and Berty.
Don't know. Love the rock though, don't they?
Yeah. I think we would put those ones closer together and have a
rockery for the
rockery
goats.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah. I might even build some form of shelter here. Yeah. Cool. So they're both tricoloured alpines, basically. And
Gerty's beautiful.
yeah, look at you. Oh dear, time wasters. That's my opinion. You're cuter than turkey chicks. Yes, you are, aren't you? Look, staring at Gilmore. So, as you know now, we've got these goats, and they've already proven to be big trouble. Hang on. So this morning I went to give Cindy a hand with the pig problem she had, not a problem, and left these two guys here. I've the fencing's all the way around. I've made it a bit higher in this corner because of the rock. I will try and move the rock again, but what we had was little madam goat here, Gerty, got out a little tiny hole underneath the bottom corner over there, and she was outside bleating and he was inside on the rock. And Ange came to get her. She was in this corner over here, so Ange shooed her along here. She opened the gate to let her out, this gate, and when the gate was open, Berty made his escape, and they were both heading in this direction towards the railway line, because the other side of the railway line there are sheep and goats, so they must have heard them or smelt them or something. So yes, but we've sorted out the problem hopefully, and they've been recaptured. Right guys, carry on. So, I wanted to show you this. The water. So here's the little house. Here, the ramp in the sunlight is 51 degrees. In the shade, 31 degrees. Inside this little tin box, yeah, the straw on the bottom is 28 degrees. So it's actually cooler in here than it is in the shade because of the beauty of insulation and draft through the top. So yeah, it's nice and cool in here. As you can see, 28 degrees, which isn't nice and cool, but it's a really hot day today, so it's a lot cooler in there than it is out here. But then goats don't seem to mind it being hot like that. They, you know, look at them. Do you guys? They tend to be eating all the flower heads. And they love grapevines, which are over there. You a bit cute? Hey, you're a bit cute. Hey. Berty. Berty. Hey, Berty. I'll just come over to these trees and I've noticed that under here it's like, if I can get that on camera, it's 20 degrees. Yeah, so yeah, I may move the tractor from where it is here out the full sun and into the shade. Obviously that's going to help, so yeah, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put the tractor here, see if I can do it on my own. Just pop the camera up. So they got food and everything in there. We're supposed to have spent the night in there last night, but we think they spent the night on top of that rock. But then first night away from Mummy, so there you go. Goats eating brambles, what more could you want?
I'm going to be making some cherry jam. So we make the most of our bounty of cherries here. This region in the Fundão area of central Portugal is renowned for its cherries. We're very lucky we have our own trees. So in the pot at the moment I've got 2 kilos of our own cherries, which I've pitted. So they've gone through the process, taken all the stones out. And to that, like I said, this is a really simple ratio recipe as well. 2 kilos of cherries, 1 kilo of sugar. So it would work £2 to £1, half a pound to quarter of a pound, you know, so whatever your fruit have of sugar. So for each kilo, I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon, and again, we're very lucky we have our own lemons here, so this will be 2 lemons for this particular one. Nice and juicy. Half a lemon. Really thick pith on that one. Pith won't hurt either. Pulp won't hurt either. Pits in those too. Right, just turn that room on. This then needs to go reduced down a bit so everything gets cooked together. What we're doing, we're letting it cook until all the sugar is dissolved. You start to just see it get into a syrupy consistency, so we don't want the heat up too high. That happens in a minute. Once this sugar is all actually dissolved, just nearly getting there. We're going to turn the heat up because we need to get the jam or the fruit to start what's called a rolling boil. So the only way to do that is obviously to put the heat up and get it going. So as you can see, the sugar itself is all dissolved now. Get the heat into that, let it boil. As you can see, this is now starting to get up to temperatures, but we still need it to actually form what they call a rolling boil. We are getting there. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to mash the fruit slightly because it's still quite whole. Obviously that would make it a bit harder for spreading. We'll just give it a quick mash while it's in the process of heating up here. Smelling lovely. They say watch pot never boils. Just to also let you know, with these lemon skins, I'm not going to throw those away. I'm actually going to pop them in the freezer, because then they're brilliant for grating over salads and stuff. And you know, you've got the zest then, and like I said, as it's frozen, it's a lot easier to grate because you've got no substance there with the lemon gone. But you can, you know, don't just chuck things away. If you can reuse, or if you can use anything, always do. So like I said, those I'll pop in the freezer, and they're brilliant just to grate over a salad or fish or anything like that. So little top tip. You can see we've got some bubbles starting to form now. We really need to get this nicely boiling, and we need to keep that at that sort of boil for a good 2 to 3 minutes. And again, this is where you need to make sure you've got a good sized pot when you're doing anything like this. You don't want to have the fruit and sugar up to the rim, because you won't allow for that boil. As you can see, obviously with the boiling, how much it's risen up the pot. Look at that down a little bit. Even though, like I said, I thought I had plenty of room in this pot, but you'll have to keep an eye on it. You can't just walk away. Another minute to go. I'm now going to turn the heat down, because I just want it to simmer. It needs to simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. I've just knocked the heat down, and as you can see, that's immediately brought that down. We need to get this to simmer nicely. See how much that's reduced down from the rolling boil. Like I said, this now needs to simmer for a good sort of 20 to 30 minutes. Need to come and give it a stir every now and again, just to make sure it's not sticking. If there's still any large bits of cherry, you can give it another bit of a mash, but it just needs to bubble over like that, and that's perfect. So we'll come back to that near the end. Okay, as you can see, this is nicely bubbling away, and whilst that is getting there, I also have a large stock pot that I will start to boil, because that I use to can the jam once it's done. So what I do, I put a trug in the bottom to prevent the jars touching, and I'm also going to I'll have a jam thermometer in there, so while that heats up, it helps the jam thermometer to get up to temperature, and then when this is finished joudling, I can put the jam thermometer in without it sort of shocking. You know, it's had a chance to build up to temperature, and it will read. This is the large stock pot I use, with the trug in the bottom to stop the glass touching the bottom, and that's the jingle. My jam thermometer, as you can see, there's grades on there that gives you an indication of where temperatures need to be for certain things, and the jam is just above 100. It's 105 degrees C, which is 220 Fahrenheit. So I pop that one in there, and we can heat up, and then I can put it into the jam. Okay, as you can see, the thermometer's in there, and the water is heating up, because you can see steam coming. So I'm going to go and move the thermometer from there to here, and we'll see how the jam has reached its setting points. Bear with me one moment. temperature's going up, and I shall show you in a moment. It's 400, which is 215. It's getting up to jam joudling. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but that is actually pretty much what it should be. I'll drop it back in again so it doesn't cool too much. I'm going to, yeah, it's dropped down a little bit, but it has actually reached that temperature. I'll leave it in there for a couple of minutes just to make sure. I've already got some jars that, I'll have to get my gloves in a minute, that have been sterilised, so they're fairly warm, so these are my grubby gloves, but this is the size jar we should be using. I shall take off the bits of jammy stuff, that can go in the wash. See, with something like that, it's good to be able to give it a wash off quickly before the jam sets on it, because it'll be a nightmare to get off. Now, what I do now, as we've reached the temperature, and I'm quite happy with the look of this at the moment, I'm going to put in a knob of butter before I put it into the jars. Now, this should take away the foaminess, so stir that in. Turn off the heat. Shrouded in steam. My knob all dissolved in there, but as you can see, the most of the foam is gone now. I'm not. If I was making a jelly type jam, so a clear jelly, you would definitely want to make sure you've got rid of any, what they call like the scum that goes on top, so because that would affect the clarity. But as it's a jam and it's not going out on the open market, it's going into mine and Nick's bellies, we don't mind a little bit of scum on top. So now the fun part. Where it all gets really hot. There's already a hot jar. I put in hot jammy stuff in it as well. That's the sort of level I'm looking for. So I'll go and fill the other jars up, drop this one down before it burns, and show you then putting them into the water. Okay, that's made 3.5 of those 540 gram jars. They're just ones that we use quite a lot over here. A lot of the beans and things like that come in them, and they're just a really handy sized jar. I'm now going to obviously place the lids on and plop them into here. So we'll go through that process and I'll show you. Right, I'm only going to put the 3 full ones in, because the half one we'll put in the fridge and that will be one we'll use up. So you gently put them in. Now this is only at the moment coming up halfway to the pot, pots and we need to actually cover it. So what I shall do is add some more hot water. So just bear with me. Like I said, I'm just going to put in some more hot water. Need a bit more as well. So the water needs to cover the lids of these jars. Oh, not quite. Just covering it. So they're now underwater, and once that happens, the airlock starts. So this needs to come up to temperature, and once it's reached boiling, it will. I'll keep it on that, or not quite boiling. So annoying because I do this all the time. It needs to keep it a constant temperature for a good 10 minutes, and then it's done its duty. And sometimes what happens is you'll hear these lids pop because they've got a little pressure button on them as well. So that's it. Right, the jam has been in there, so I'll turn the heat off, and now I've always had, I really hate doing this because I haven't got a sort of like a proper lifty thing, so I have to be with these gloves. Take them out. And just put them on a trivet, not a trug. I said it was a trug when I put it in there, but I've got two of these trivets, and one's in there. Once you take one out, the water level does drop, so it does make it a little bit easier, but normally the first one, I just use the wooden things just to support it. So these come out, we let them cool down, and then I can tighten the lid, and once the lid's tightened, that's sealed then. And what will happen, that these have got little raised bits, and they should pop, so down. It should suck down. Yeah. So that's the
cool cherry jam. Okay, guys, so Angie's jam is still doing. And what I'm going to force her to make now is we're using this stuff. We got this from a local producer. This is aguardente, which is like in Italy it would be grappa. It's made from the leftover grapes from making wine, obviously. Yeah. So we have 20 litres here, or 4 gallons, whatever, of aguardente. And we're going to make Ginja. I'll put it up on the titles and in the description. Ginja is okay, this is not normal water. Does it smell like?
It smells hot.
It is hot. It's aguardente. So
right, I need
half a litre.
So this is.
So what we're doing is we have, these are Ginja cherries. They're a different cherry. They're harder and a bit more bitter than the normal eating cherries, like these over here.
Yeah, I've got cherries everywhere at the moment.
And there's ones for the turkeys because they got damaged ones, etc. And obviously the cherry jam still going on here. But so half a litre of aguardente. So we're doing 1 kilo of cherries, 1 kilo of sugar, 1 litre of red wine, which we don't have, we'll have to add tomorrow when I go shopping, and half a litre of aguardente to spice things up a bit.
And where shall I put them?
Put them all in some form of receptacle. Probably get another
of course,
water bowl, yeah?
1 moment, please.
While she's gone, just a quick explanation about aguardente. So it's basically distilled grape juice, yeah? Some people distill the wine, but most here they just distill the what's left when they crush the grapes, etc. What's left over, they put that into what they call an alembic and distill that, get that up to, it should be actually 88 degrees centigrade to get ethanol from that, and then this is the result. And you can drink it neat, which I quite like as a whiskey replacement. It's all right. I'm quite keen on it now, but. Yeah, that's the process of making that. And now we're going to make a drink called Ginja. It's a very popular drink here in central Portugal, and it's like a cherry brandy. It's fantastic.
It is nice.
So we need to put all the cherries hole with the pits and everything into the bottle. So that might take a while. Okay, so that's the all the cherries in there, and now Angie's putting a kilo of sugar. Okay, yeah, couldn't put the cherries through the funnel because they're slightly too large for the hole, but I'm sure sugar will go down there. Does seem to be a lot of sugar, but it sort of re-ferments in the bottle.
Add an escapee cherry.
All right. So now half a litre of aguardente. You can make it a little bit stronger, put a bit more aguardente in or whatever, but we're sticking to the recipe we used last year because it was fantastic. And then a litre of wine on top of that. Only problem is we haven't got any wine. But, hang on. So I managed to squeeze out what was left in the wine box, and we have a litre of red wine.
Just under, so we can use that one. Right.
And that's it, guys. So we put the lid on and give that a good shake.
Make sure the lid is on. And we do that whenever we see it.
Yeah, you put more shake down it. Yeah, make sure all the sugar gets mixed into the cherries, etc. Give it a good shake about once a week for, well, once a day for about a week, sorry, and then leave it for as long as you can bear not drinking it. So with this bottle, what I will probably do is mix up half of what we just made and top that up so the bottle's full, so we don't have much air in there, and that will be like 5 litres then of ginger, and probably do another couple of them. Because it's really nice, guys, and it seems to evaporate really quickly. What are you up to, babe?
More cherry malarkey.
Ah, drying them.
Yes.
Here you go. I brought you a beer.
Oh, you are an angel. Happy
Cheers. Sunday. Happy Sunday. What are you doing? Just cutting them in half? Put them in a...
I must admit, I think getting, like Steve and Natalia had that hand
pitter, yeah.
I think for doing something like this, because it's better to pit from the top to bottom.
Yeah.
For cutting in half, better for drying, because otherwise you end up with weird, lumpy sort of cherries. It doesn't matter so much for jam and things like that, but if you want things to look nice.
Mm-hmm. So
we'll have to, when we next see those guys, we'll ask them where they get their hand pitter, and then that'll be better for us.
Yeah. Okay, that's it from us this week, guys, and a big shout out to Louise from Solo 50 Plus Expat Portugal for her goat herding expertise this morning.
Thank you, Louise.
Yeah, thanks, Louise, and cheers. Here's to you.
Yep, and here's to everybody.
See you later, guys.
It's a hard life.